Hi, I'm Andrew Halsman. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I work at Family Tree Counseling Associates in Carmel, Indiana. My phone number is 317 457 8668. You can also reach me at aholzman2 at comcast.net. That's AHOLZMAN 2 at comcast.net. This video I'm entitling Relationship Killers, and I'm going to name a few relationship killers. But before I start that, I wanted to talk about the relationship, because finding a loving mate is one of the great joys in life, and you very much connect with that person who you fall in love with. At some point in the relationship, be it a few months or a year or so, you're going to find that the reality is this person is imperfect, and this person has some baggage. They have some illogical and unhealthy aspects to their personality, as do you. There's no one who does not, of course. So these unhealthy aspects to their personality hopefully can be worked out, hopefully can be talked about, hopefully also bring up issues that you need to talk about because you've picked this person. You've found someone who has these parts of their personality which you might have trouble with, but they will bring up feelings for you, and possibly you need to have a voice with someone who is too cut off, or you have need to set limits with someone who's too intrusive. So having someone in your life with characteristics, with baggage, be it also normal, it is also necessary. It's nature healing itself. It's you finding a way by finding this other person to take care of yourself and to work on your own issues. That being said, there are some characteristics that are unhealthy. They are so unhealthy that you really have to take a long, hard look at yourself and take a long, hard look at the relationship. So they can be very extreme, they can be very destructive, and in some ways you should be wary of people who are having these characteristics, because they're going to bring you down in ways that you might not be able to take care of yourself. So here's what I'm thinking. So one characteristic is a person who's blaming all their relationship failures on previous people that they've had relationships with. So this is a person whose ex-husband or ex-wife is a devil, is a monster. Well, no one's really a monster. No one's really the devil. And if they're always the victim of these unstable people, then that says something about them, and that's something you should be a little concerned about, because you might be next. That if they're always picking people to blame, picking people who they eventually will say are bad, unstable, difficult, horrible, and they're always, again, the victim of these people, then that's a difficult situation, because you're going to be next. You're going to be blamed. Okay? So another characteristic, number two, is someone who kind of pulls away, doesn't want to have you or have themselves spend time with anybody else. They basically corral you into the relationship and keep them for yourself. And I found this to be a precursor sometimes to not only emotional but physical abuse. A person who's cutting you off from your family, from your friends, from other aspects of your life, does not just want to keep you corralled or keep you to themselves totally, and disparages any other type of relationship. This person is very controlling and can be very scary, because if you start to have a life of your own, if you start to want to take care of yourself in other ways, which is healthy, it's healthy to be in other relationships and to see other people, then that person is going to become filled with rage, possibly, or sometimes abusive. So another characteristic, number three, that's difficult, that's something that could be very destructive, is a person who's searching for personal redemption through you. Their self-esteem is so in the toilet, so terrible, that, and their self-hate is so high that they want you to make them feel better. And this is kind of maybe dovetails a little bit with number two, that this person is wanting a person around because they have no self, and they're trying to gauge your sympathy, they're trying to feel good about themselves, um, this person needs to do a lot of hard work on themselves, and if they don't do that hard work and finding what's good about themselves, they're going to rely on you and mesh with you, suck you dry. So that's a difficult person to be in a relationship with. Another possibility, another baggage piece here, another thing that you should be wary of is number 4, if this person is already in an intimate relationship with somebody else before they start the relationship with you and continues that relationship. So if a person's in an intimate relationship and they keep both relationships going at the same time for too long a period, there might be some transitional space when you're dating, but if you're committed to a person and they're still seeing someone else or other people, that would be a very scary thing, a very unhealthy thing, a thing to be very concerned about, because this is a person who might have intimacy issues or commitment issues. And if you're going to get involved with this person, well, that might really hurt a lot. It will hurt a lot when that person, you find out, is not able to commit, and even if they get rid of or commit to you, that problem is going to show up later on. So this is something to talk about. Again, all of these issues are something to really talk about and to look at not only that other person, because you don't want to just blame them. You want to see, okay, what is this about for me? What is this about that I need to have this kind of person in my life who is trying to cut me off from other people, or trying to blame things on other people, or not commit to me? And that is worthy of therapy. It is worthy of self-examination. Okay, another issue that is worthy of talking about is if you're with someone who's always in pain, who always has some kind of undefinable pain and can't do anything. So they're basically no fun. They are always hurting. They're always restricted from activity. They just aren't able to get past. I mean, some people have real pain, of course, and hardly anybody would want to fake it. But if you're in a relationship with someone who's always in pain, always can't do anything or unable to do anything, that's going to really change your ability to kind of connect with the world and with this person as well. So I find that to be a very difficult thing, and it's something that's hard to talk about with somebody. And if you want to be a caretaker, that's one thing, but in a relationship, it'd be better if you were more on equal status and you both were able to do things together and spend time together. So that's why I find that to be a very difficult issue in a relationship. Another issue that to look out for is if you're always confronted with the idea that you're too sensitive, you're too easily hurt, that your feelings are just too strong, and they, in a sense, that they don't matter that much because, you know, you should not care about these things, that these things don't matter, that these things are over the top, that you're making a mountain out of a molehill, and other analogies like that. So if you're always being told that your feelings don't matter, that your sensitivities to things, that if you care about something, it's not important. So if this would be the kind of person who would plan a trip to somewhere that if you're scared of heights, they're planning a trip to, you know, in a balloon ride or something like that. They're not paying attention to your feelings and your expressions and your needs. They're not validating you. This is something to really deal with and really talk about. If you're with somebody who's so oblivious and so insensitive, that's a red flag in the relationship. Again, these are all things to talk about and deal with, and to look at yourself, because what is this about for you that you're with somebody and you love someone who has these kind of characteristics? A person who, next piece of baggage, a person who makes insulting remarks and points out your flaws in front of other people, is being holding you up to ridicule. Now that would be pretty difficult, and that would bring up a lot of feelings because you're not feeling very safe. This person is using you as the butt of their jokes, and that would be pretty uncomfortable, and that would be pretty scary and that'd be very difficult. So if your partner, that is, if your partner is taking you down a peg all the time and using you as someone to triangle with. Triangling is they're talking about you, they're about you to other people, they're saying that you're not good enough, or they're in front of friends, they're saying, oh, she's so terrible, or he does this. That's something to really talk about because that could be very shaming. That's very embarrassing. It's very shaming to be with someone who doesn't bolster you in front of others and is tearing you down. And again, that's something to talk about, and it might be resolvable, but if that's an ongoing thing, that's going to be a real bad piece of baggage because it's very shaming. So those are my relationship killer issues, at least a few of them. And like I said, these can be worked on unless the person is a total jerk and the person is unable to see your feelings, because that's the last one I talked about was really feelings. I mean, you have feelings about these things. You have feelings about being made fun of or being shamed. You have feelings about them not being intimate with you. And these are all ways that you should be working on yourself, because if you're paying attention to these feelings, then things can change. If you're not paying attention to your feelings, then you're in a relationship with somebody who's just going to walk all over you and hurt you. And relationships are very fragile at times, and a person is going to do their work in a relationship, but they also should be healthy enough to be in the relationship. They're healthy enough to take care of things that matter to them and to be ready for relationship instead of going from relationship to relationship and looking for this perfect person, because that perfect person doesn't exist. Well, thanks again. I'm Andy Holzman of Family Tree Counseling, 317-457-8668, aholzman2 at comcast.net.